Good evening everyone and welcome to WYSIWYG, What You See is What You Get. This talk is part of an ongoing collaboration between MA students from the Culture, Curation and Criticism course at Central St Martin's and members of the South London Gallery's REcreative Editorial board. In our collective 6 months of research and discussion, we've debated the many issues that emerge from the apparently simple and innocent step of placing a work of art on the web.
What happens to art on the internet in manners of shape, content, copyrights and display? How do you create digital art and what are the right platforms for it? So we want you to share your thoughts, your ideas, your comments by using the hashtag WYSIWYG14.
You could create a short film 30 years ago. What's different about this is it's distributed digitally. This isn't digital art, it's not even digital content, it's content made using quite traditional techniques, just with slightly newer technology. What's digital about it is the way we distribute. One of the joys of this is it liberates curators and programmers to really engage an audience in a way that you can't necessarily do with printed text on a gallery wall.
We were quite interested in the degradation between taking a very, very high quality render and then printing on something very, very low quality like carpet, and the loss of information that you get in that process. You didn't quite know what's going to happen.
The other thing that I think is quite interesting, or that we're quite interested with, is like that shift, not just between screen and real space, but also like the perspectives that start to happen and how you interpret images through like your physical bodily perspective in relation to what you can see on the screen.
It's interesting working out when you're looking at an art object, if you're looking just at the art object or if you're looking at lots of other relations around it as well. And the idea of narrative was a way of trying to visualize some of those roots between the website space or the publication space, the sculpture or print or iPad, what kind of things like exist between them and how an artistic process works between these different spheres rather than just being one thing on the wall.
Early records show that the curators in the late 60s really had concerns about collecting this type of material, which was then seen as a new material, and those considerations concerned digital preservation, which is something that still is a consideration for curators today. The museum's been collecting digital art for a very long time, although obviously the focus in recent years, what digital means and how it's collected, has changed.
Algorithms have had a massive impact on the way we experience culture online, from Spotify suggestions to Amazon recommendations and social media timelines and the things you see on Twitter trends. Algorithms mediate the way we interact with the world around us. If algorithms are the invisible architecture that underpins almost everything that is happening, what does this mean for curators and arts institutions in the age of the algorithm? If it's always listening and responding, what does that mean to us as a supposed filter of culture? We, as museums and institutions, need to know as much about algorithms as we do about art history, because they are essentially going to be influencing us in the future. The algorithms are listening, so we really need to start listening back.
Just wondering about the perishability of digital art, whether it's an opportunity for it to be renewed, or a point for collaborations or departures or audience engagement.
You have things like legacy systems and software and things that just goes out of date that digital work is supposed to exist on. So how do you constantly make sure you're staying ahead of that?
Where does digital art that's conceived to live on and be consumed on the internet go? Like, who are the curators of that? Is there an audience for it?
How about Spotify for digital art?
Where you put in algorithms to mediate culture, you're basically handing over culture to engineers who are taught the most logical way of dealing with it, so will throw you back the most logical answer.
Well, we need to finish, but we are really hope to initiate some kind of digital platform, so I hope we can all continue this online.